Hello everyone, welcome back to the Chit Chat and Crochet podcast with me, Stephanie Mitchard. Today, what we are going to be talking about is episode 4 of the game of wool. I am loving talking about the game of wool. Like, I'm actually absolutely obsessed with talking all about this show. I think it's absolutely brilliant, and yes, it's causing a bit of discourse. It's causing a little bit of controversy. But I do want everyone to just remind themselves that this is a game show. This is a game show. And the only thing that's going to come from this is good, because more people are going to get interested in crochet and knitting. So if you've never ever been here before, like I said at the start, my name is Stephanie Mitchard. I crochet, I craft, I do lots and lots and lots of different types of things. And this is our little corner of the internet where we do all things crochet and all things crafty. Crafty? We upload twice a week. Wednesdays we have the Chit Chat and Crochet podcast. Sundays we have our craft project of the week, and we get together in a premiere episode, so we have a live chat function. So it's basically like we have a craft club. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. You don't have to leave your house. You can come and you can be part of our little community. We have a Facebook group, the Mitchard Mateys Craft Club. Thank you, Wendy, for that name. So during the week, you can post what you're working on. If you've got videos, post your videos, pictures, everything. It's like we have this amazing little community where we all share our love of crafts. So you might have noticed that I am actually wearing different glasses. I have kind of gone in a different direction from the normal green, and I've got these amazing glasses called Retro by woollen. And talking about woollen, they are actually the sponsor of this week's episode. So I am going to pop a little bit of a video here because they sent me 3 different glasses and I want to share them with you. I am so excited right now because we are partnering again with woollen. I love woollen so much. Number one, because glasses, not that you've noticed, are a very key part of my look. I love wearing glasses. I've worn glasses since I was 10 years old. I am now 37. So the best part of nearly 30 years, glasses have been a very integral part of how I appear to people. And I think it's really important to have a pair of glasses that really suits what you're wearing, suits your mood, suits your aesthetic, suits what you're doing. And the best thing about woollen is they are affordable and they do really fun glasses. One of the big problems that I've always had going to the opticians is trying to find glasses that represent my personality. And I am telling you now, woollen, they have got glasses that suit all different types of personalities. Now, the glasses that I've chosen 3 different types, and they're all kind of very, very different from one another. The first ones that I'm going to try on for you are called Retro. Aren't they absolutely gorgeous? Look at that fabulous design. I wear a lot of gold as well. Like, I wear like these gold hoops are kind of like another part of my look. And I kind of feel like all of the gold in these glasses are picking up these gold hoops. I do rock a lot of kind of vintage clothes as well. And I think especially with doing the crochet, it is quite like a retro kind of vintagey look a lot of the time. And I feel like I wanted a pair of glasses that I could kind of wear with anything. And these for me are 100% those kind of glasses that will suit any outfit. But I don't think they're vintage in the way that they kind of look like tired or they look like costumey. I feel like these glasses, they're very, very classy and very, very elegant. And there is a kind of contemporary kind of feel to them. I think these will be perfect for like a preppy outfit. You know, I've been talking about being absolutely obsessed with vests at the moment. Maybe I should invest in some like gorgeous shirts, because I feel like it's like intellectual yet approachable. I just think they're so gorgeous. I love the tortoise shell as well, and I think that they complement my hair really good too. So these are an absolute winner. Now, the second pair that I chose, they were a bit of a wild card, because I looked at them and I thought, oh my gosh, they look so fun. They're kind of wild, and sometimes when I'm wanting something like a little bit darker, a little bit more kind of like punky, I feel like these are like 100% going to complete my look. So these glasses are called Spike. you'll see they have these amazing details, almost like eyebrow piercings. Feel that, hear that jingle? There's actual holes and they move. So cool. This is what they look like on. Aren't they fantastic? They're not like ginormous, but they're big enough where I don't feel like I can see the frame. Because when I saw them in the box, I was like, oh wow, they're like really, really cool. But they're so black and they're so dark. Are they gonna be distracting? And I put these on and I was so shocked. Number one, at how light they are. They feel extremely light. They're very, very lightweight. But I also love how bold they are, and they are so fun. And just these little jingly janglies, like these little piercy bits. I am obsessed. I showed them to Red and Red was like, they are so cool. Oh my gosh. I can't wait when I rock like me kind of little gothy kind of outfits. Like these are 100% going to be part of that. But also my uniform is black. And sometimes I just want to wear like black glasses to kind of keep like that muted kind of look. You know, when you have these days where you're just kind of like, I just want to be all in black and I just want to kind of like, you know, be monochrome. And these are kind of a way of being monochrome, but also standing out. I mean, I do feel like I'm pretty fearless with my glasses anyway. And these, I feel like there is a fearless kind of like strong, very punky kind of aesthetic to them. I am just obsessed. The next pair of glasses that I chose are another bit of a wild card for me. I started wearing more kind of brights and I wanted something that was going to match. So these are the Alma in multicolour. Aren't they absolutely beautiful? You have this amazing coral, this gorgeous teal, this amber and the blue. And they're all kind of mixed up together. It almost has like a tortoiseshell kind of appearance to it. I, again, just love how lightweight they are. I don't feel like the glasses are wearing me. I'm wearing the glasses. I love the gold accents because, again, I wear a lot of gold and I feel like all those shapes, like I always wear big hoop earrings, having these circular glasses, it all kind of ties in. Again, having this tortoiseshell kind of pattern, it kind of, again, ties back to those kind of vintage kind of feels to it. But having these bright colours, it just makes it feel very, very contemporary. I just think these are just so pretty. And I think the blue in my eyes, it kind of like really like brings the blue out, which I think sometimes when you wear glasses, sometimes your kind of colour of your eyes kind of gets a little bit lost. And that little pop of blue, I just think is so pretty. So right now we're surrounded by blue light, probably more than ever before. We're always on our phones, computers at work, tablets, all these things are always surrounding us. Blue light can be really, really damaging. It can give you blurred vision, it can give you headaches, dry eyes. That is something that I have actually been struggling with over the last few years. I used to wear contacts a lot and I ended up with dry patches on my eyes, and that is something where I've resorted to wearing glasses a lot more over the last 3 years to try to resolve that problem. Having the blue light though, knowing that that gives that little bit of added extra protection. And another thing that it can actually really affect is focusing. And I think in a world where there are so many distractions, we need all the help that we can get with focusing. Also, over nighttime, if you're sitting there and you're watching the TV, the blue light can also disrupt your sleep as well and can actually affect your sleep patterns. So that's why blue light glasses, having that little tint, is so important. All the glasses that I've showed you today have all got that blue light blocker on, and I'm really excited to see the effects and see how I'm actually feeling. One thing I do struggle with sometimes is my sleep, so knowing that I do have that little blocker on, I'm hoping that it's going to help with that. So what the blue light blocker actually does is it helps absorb the blue light, and then it kind of protects the eyes and kind of reduces that strain, which is going to make your eyes more comfortable, which is perfect for us because you know how much time we're spending looking at our projects. Now, the best thing about Vooglam for me is how cost effective they are. I feel like you can take those risks. You can take those risks getting a really amazing, bold set of glasses, and they're not going to break the bank. That's what's so amazing about Vooglam. Down below in the description, I'm going to link all of the information for Vooglam. I can't recommend them enough. So remember, if you want to get a pair of glasses from Vooglam, you can use this discount code right here, and you can get 25% off. I also just want to remind everybody, that we are going to be doing a giveaway. A Modern Yarn Michaela has organised this amazing giveaway with Luca-S yarns. You could be in with a chance of winning one of 5 giveaways of 2 balls of their woolen walk range. All the details on how to enter are going to be down in the notes, but you just need to make sure you subscribe to myself, A Modern Yarn, The Knitting Forecast, Stitches and Jacks, and make sure you comment down below telling me which colourway is your favourite. So what am I working on? I'm actually working on another snood. So the snood that I was working on last week, I finished that, and that is going to be a present for somebody. And then when I was making it and it all got completed, I was like, oh my gosh, that is actually going to be perfect for me. So now I've started making myself one. I'm also making a jumper for Jackson because he's really obsessed with nutcrackers. So I'm actually doing him a tapestry crochet jumper with a nutcracker on. So I need to understand, that's one thing that I've been sort of learning through watching this programme, is the difference between tapestry and intarsia. Can someone please answer this for me? Intarsia, is that when you're leaving the threads out? And tapestry is when you're like weaving around and carrying that yarn like behind? Is that, so it basically, tapestry, it looks the same on the back as it does on the front? Because that's what I try to attempt, but sometimes it turns into like leaving the threads out. Like at the moment, this jumper for Jackson, I'm trying my best to carry those threads, but every now and then one of them slips. So yeah, that is one thing that I found really beneficial with watching this programme, is some of the terminology, and I'm actually learning things, which I think is so cool. So that is what I'm working on. I'm actually doing this in the scissors in golden green. You know that fab jumper that I've got that I made with the 3/4 zip? I'm doing it in the same colour because I've got some of this left over and I've got some of that gorgeous emerald in the Aran. So that is what I'm going to be making my snood out of. Another really amazing thing about this show is Jackson has been so into it. Last week when we watched when they were making the deck chairs, he got so obsessed and he's been talking about it all week. This week, they focused on kids' fancy dress. Kids' fancy dress, how cool is that? So obviously Jackson was extremely excited about this. What's really fun as well is the fact that he's watching this with me from start to finish. And a lot of the times with shows, he doesn't really sit and watch it from start to finish. Like if it's a film, he might go away, he might have a little play, he'll come back and he'll kind of dip in and out. But this, he is like glued to it from start to finish. So I'm hoping that it's going to inspire him to pick up the hook, because if I can get him crocheting, it's only going to help with his dexterity. And it also means that it's another thing that me and him can share together, which I'm just so happy about. So in this week's episode, the gang are making fancy dress costumes for kids, and I am made up because this is a crochet challenge. I am so happy. Now, I haven't done much research on what they intended this show to be, but from having people comment and talking, it seems like they have kind of changed the format of the show at some point. Whether they expected it to just be a knitting show, I'm not too sure. But it's kind of strange to me that they're expecting these contestants to be proficient in both knitting and crochet. I mean, obviously, there are people like Michaela from A Modern Yarn who is absolutely not just like okay in one and fantastic in the other. She's amazing at both. And there are so many people like Marianne from Penny Stitchcraft as well. You can just completely do both. And some of the contestants are excellent at both methods. But I do kind of feel like it does cut a lot of people sort of out if you can't sort of be really good at both. But yeah, there's a lot that I have to say about this episode. So far, this has actually been my favourite episode. It was just so fun seeing the creativity, and I'm just absolutely made up. What's really good as well is they're making toddler costumes. So that's not for like a child. It's for like a very small little human. So they're going to be able to get these costumes together. But again, it is still pushing themselves because they only have 12 hours. Now, both Di and Sheila, they have both said that they want the designs to be creative and unique. They're going to be looking at the techniques. They're going to be looking at the variety of stitches. That is what they're wanting to see. The costumes have also got to have 3 elements. So it's going to have to be like the actual body of the costume, and then accessories on top of that. And the costume has got to be like a recognizable thing. Like you've got to be able to be like, oh yeah, that kid is dressed as X. And they also want to make sure that the design that they choose along with the accessories is like completely cohesive. Like it's a cohesive costume and like they get all elements of it. So we first go to Lydia, and Lydia has got her twins to choose what she's going to make, which I just think is so lovely. Like asking her children, we're like, what kind of costume would you like? And they both chose a lion. It's like so cute. She's going to work in the round for this. So she's actually going to do like a romper, which I think is really cute and really practical. And that's going to be like comfy. So what she's going to be making is obviously the romper, and then for the little accessories, you're going to have little cuffs, and you're going to also have like a little headpiece with like a lion's mane. So she's choosing to use like a loop stitch, which looks so fantastic for the mane. I think it translates like lion's mane like really, really well. And I think that it also has like a whimsical kind of cartoonish kind of element to it, like kind of like childhood whimsy. Isaac decides to make an explorer costume, and his explorer costume is made up of like a little vest that he's gonna do an entire world on the back. And he's also decided to do this kind of spiked stitch, because obviously like these explorer jackets, they're kind of like a woven material, and I love the forethought that he puts into this to think, right, how can I kind of make this look almost like a Hessian? How can I translate that into my crochet? And he's put so much thought and care into the stitch that he chooses. He's also pairing it with a pith hat as well, and a little binoculars. And he also goes one step further and he makes a compass. Like imagine being a child, putting that little jacket on, putting your hand into the pocket, and then suddenly finding like this cool little crochet compass. Like you'd just be so excited. I love Holgar's. Oh my gosh. So he had like his like childhood toy was a little fox. And that's what he's sort of based his costume off, which again, I think is like really creative, because it's not just like, I'm making a fox. It's something like from his childhood that ties to like his identity, which I just think is really, really beautiful. So what he has is like these striped trousers with a little sash, a little headpiece as well. And he also makes a tail. What I really love though about Holgar's is he brushes out the wool with like this little wire comb, and he makes the yarn like really, really fluffy. And I just think that is such a beautiful little touch. Dipti, my crochet queen, she is going to be making a crayon costume, which in theory is really, really cool. So it's going to be, the body is going to be like a tube, like the crayon. She's going to use intarsia as well to do like the words, like the crayon words. She's going to have a little pointed hat for the tip of the crayon, and a little bag as well, so you can put crayons in the bag. Like she's really thought about the actual outfit and like kind of really kind of bringing those elements together. The only problem is Dipti's never done intarsia before. So, because she's not really spent much time doing like the intarsia, this could be a little bit sort of iffy for her. When she's making the costume, Di approaches her and kind of is like looking at the intarsia and sort of says to her, why didn't you do surface crochet? Like that might have, you know, translated a bit better. And both Di and Sheila tell her to neaten it up. Now, the way she neatens it up, she's doing a crayon orange. And instead of going around the words in black, she uses orange to kind of tidy it up. And it doesn't look right because it's got all these kind of like jaggedy lines going around the letters. And I'm thinking maybe it would have been better maybe using like a thicker wool and doing some like chains, like doing that surface crochet going around the words. Maybe it would have looked more like she was kind of colouring it in a little bit better. I don't know, but then again, maybe she just ran out of time, because she makes this entire garment, which I think is absolutely fantastic. I love her idea. It's just that little bit just kind of let the costume down. But at the same time, she's only got 12 hours. So what she achieved in 12 hours is a miracle. Tracy is going to do a bee costume, like such a classic kind of design. She's going to be doing doubles and clusters as well. The clusters are going to give that look lovely texture. She's making the wings with hair curling bands, which is a bit worrying because of the weight. You've got to think about the fact that you're going to crochet around this thing as well. It's already got weight to it, and then you've got to add it to the costume on top. So Di and Sheila are both a little bit worried about that. I'm thinking there's probably a different way that she could have done it. Like if she got like a really thick wire, something that's not going to poke somebody, you know, she could even just like round the ends, or she's going to crochet around it anyway. Maybe that would have been better. Like think about like the fairy wings that you'd wear as a child. They had a wire frame to them, so maybe using a wire frame might have been a little bit better for her. She's also going to make like a little crown as well, which I think is so cute. Isla decides to do a zebra costume. I'm very much in the sort of style of Isla. She's taken vintage inspiration. She found a cardigan with this amazing like crochet wavy pattern and brings that into this child's costume. So having those kind of wavy stitches, it's kind of given a more natural sort of like zebra print to the idea. She makes this really amazing hat as well. This hat is so cool. The hat has got eyes, like the zebra face on the actual hat. And she actually does like eyeshadow. It's so cool. So it's a black and white design with hints of pink. And she also makes little leg warmers as well. It's so cute, and it really stands out. Simon, the man who doesn't crochet, he actually did really well this week. And I think it's because he put so much planning into what he's doing. He didn't wing it. When you think this craft isn't your main craft and you are winging it, it's not going to be successful. The moment he puts like plan and thought into it, he actually does something that's really good. He does a knight's costume. He uses granny squares to kind of give that chainmail effect. He makes a really cool helmet, you know, with the little bit underneath that kind of comes up and down, so that's movable. And then he also made a mace as well, which I thought the mace was absolutely fantastic. All the kids, they kind of show this little like arena outside where they're all playing, wearing the costumes, and they all just look like they were having a scream. So the actual judging. So Lydia does really well. They love the embellishments. They love the mane. They like the shape of the tail. They think all the accessories kind of tie in with the theme. But one comment that they do make is that the idea of just like a lion isn't like overly original. It's not like overly unique, which is something that they asked for. Isaac's, Di absolutely loves Isaac's, loves Isaac's so much. They're really impressed with his development as well. That's one thing that they comment on. They talk about how clear the intarsia work is. The pith, the fact that it has this really amazing spiral coming down either side, it really translates as one of those pith hats. And the binoculars and the compass, they're blown away by the binoculars and the compass, and absolutely buzzing about the accessories and the thought that went into it. Holgar's, they love the stitches. They love the fact that he really thought about the fabric, the weight of the fabric, what is going to be achieved with that, and just the thought process that he puts in behind it. And obviously the little bits that are brushed out, they love that. Now, Dipti is up next, and they really like what Dipti made. They think that it's nicely engineered, as they put it, and they really like the elements, like the hat and the bag. The actual design of itself, they really enjoyed. The only thing that's let her down, really, is this tidying up of the intarsia work. It's also quite oversized. It's gaping at the back as well. And they did say the design was a little simple, but they really liked it as well. There was a lot of positive things that they were saying about it. And that's kind of how I feel about her design as well. I really love what she made. The fact that she made this in 12 hours, we need to remember the fact that these people are under so much stress trying to get these garments made. So accidents and mistakes are going to happen. Tracy's. Now, they like Tracy's. They like the clusters, so her use of sort of the stitches that she's chosen, but what's letting her down is those wings. They're gaping at the back. The sort of wings are pulling the sort of design back because it is heavy. She also has buttons in the design as well, and they kind of wish that she'd crocheted the buttons. Isla's next. They think that her design is super fun. They really love that wavy pattern and sort of talk about the fact that she has kind of thought about the heights of those stitches and really putting thought into showing multiple stitches within the design. And again, the attention to detail, the eyeshadow, like that just blew me away. Like a little cute little zebra with the eyes were fantastic, the way she's done those crochet eyes, but just having that forethought to just put a little bit of pink underneath, that kind of makes the eye pop almost like 3D, and having this little eyeshadow moment, like very, very glam. Now, Simon's, they were very impressed with his effort, because obviously the last few times that he's attempted crochet, it's not really gone to plan. They recognise in this, though, that he's really stepped up. He's really, really put thought into it. They really, really, really love the mace that he makes. And they do recognise that he has tried really hard. So I don't really know who won out of this, because there's been so many like lovely comments and quite positive comments. But from this moment, I thought, oh gosh, Dipty's going to be in the bottom. Dipty's going to be in the bottom. So now we move on to the group task, which is they are tasked with making a wall hanging. So there's 2 teams. You have got Holger, Lydia, Simon and Dipty. And in the other team, you've got Isla, Isaac and Tracy. So they're tasked with making this wall hanging, like for a children's wall. And have you ever played that game Exquisite Corpse? That's like the name of it, but obviously you don't call it when you're playing with a child. You get a piece of paper, someone draws like a face, then the next person draws like a bit of the body, and the next person draws like a little bit like else, and you pass that around. That's the idea of the wall hanging. So each person makes a section. So the fact that that's one thing I thought of last week when they were saying like, oh, we're going to have 2 teams and they're both making a wall hanging. I was like, well, one team has an extra person, so how's that going to work? Obviously, they're all making their own little panel and then they've got to join it all together. So the wall hanging is going to be creative, it's going to be like interactive. And both teams approach this completely differently. What I really love about Isaac, Isla and Tracy, the way they approach this, is they approached it in like the traditional way of playing the game. One of them drew a face, they passed to the next one, somebody drew the body, and then the last person drew like the feet. And that was their design, and it was all sort of shapes. That's what they decided to go for. Where the other team, they kind of planned it out a little bit more, and they gave like a theme where they were like, right, okay, we're going to do sea creatures. And there seemed to be a little bit more planning with the approach with the first team with 4. So Holger, Lydia, Simon and Dipty, it's all sea creature themed. Now Holger, Lydia and Simon, they're all going to knit. But Dipty, because she's strong with crochet, decides to crochet her piece. This ends up being slightly smaller than the rest of the group. So in both challenges, she struggled to kind of get the sizing right. One thing that I think is really good about their team is they do have a lot of thought about like the embellishments and the interactive kind of side, where Isaac, Isla and Tracy, that kind of is a bit of an afterthought, I feel. One thing that's really good with the team with 3 is to give their wall hanging kind of a bit of a cohesive look, is they all decide to do the same background, so it's all white. Also, when they join it together at the end, that sort of colour kind of comes through in the background. It looks more seamless. Obviously, Tracy's absolutely made up because there's embellishments involved in this task. So she's like, yes, give me all the embellishments, which I absolutely love. I just love the fact that she's so obsessed with embellishments. When they're at the end and they're attaching all of their pieces together, one thing I didn't know is that knitting doesn't really sit flat. So that was going to be like a thought of how they're actually going to stretch this and hang it. A lot of people do, I think they said a garter stitch on the edges. I can't really remember, to be honest with you. I know that team 2, the team with 3, they actually attach this to like doweling, and they're using like a whip stitch to do that, and it comes down to like the last hour. Team 1, the one with 4, they're all still actually working on the design, so they're not actually using that last hour to actually get it all kind of stitched together. I was like panicking. I was like, oh my gosh. And then like Tom Daly's doing this sort of like, you know, over talk when Isla's doing this whip stitch. So Tom Daly says something like, takes time to have it done well. And it's like, well, you're not giving them time to do it well, are you? You're not giving them time. This is solely like very much like pushing people to their limits with their craft. So the sea creatures, they're having to kind of like sew it together roughly. Now, when they hung them both next to each other, I actually was more drawn to the sea creature one, and I didn't think I would be. I thought I'd be more drawn to the team with 3 people. But I think because the background, it was cream, it was plain, I felt like you could see the line of where each panel has been kind of stitched together. Because there was more colour going on in the first one, it kind of all blended in a kind of collage kind of way. I really liked it. The thing that let them down though was at the bottom, it kind of came in because Dipti had made hers a little bit smaller, and there was little signs that they had to rush where certain stitches had changed and stuff like that. But team 2 ended up winning, because obviously it was very neat. It was very neat. They kept it simple, and I think they really listened to the brief, being like, right, yeah, we'll do some elements of embellishment where like they had like little arms that you could pull, there was shoelaces that you could tie, where the first one had a lot more going on. It had zips and all sorts. But I think because you've got 8 hours to make this, they needed to think about their strengths. How are we going to make this come across like neat? Because that's one thing they kept commenting on. The team with 3, it was so neat, and it was really, really neat. And I think they really, really thought about what they were making. And unfortunately, team 1, although it was creative, because it wasn't as neat, it kind of let it down a little bit. Now, when it actually comes to the final voting, Di didn't cry this episode. So we're on episode 4 and she hasn't shed a tear. So, you know, I was a little bit shocked with that. So how are we supposed to know who's going to win? Now, the top knitters of the week, we have Isaac, because they're looking at how much he's progressed, which I love the fact that they're actually looking at the progress of like what was actually happening. They're also really impressed with his sort of range of techniques as well. And I think this week he's done so fantastically. Isla's also in the top as well, just with her creativity. She is so creative. Everything she makes is absolutely stunning. At risk, we've got Dipti, because in both tasks there was something that was a little bit off. And obviously Simon, just because, again, last week he had all that issue with the crochet, and this week, has he really improved? We don't know. Now, Isaac wins top knitter. So they all kind of bar at him and then give him his little badge. And then, unfortunately, Dipti is cast off. And I'm gutted because I love Dipti. Not that I don't like Simon. It's not that I don't like Simon. It's just like I feel like she's so creative. And I'm just like, oh. And it's like she makes this comment where she was kind of saying, like, I feel like I've come as far as I can. And I'm like, no, you haven't. No, you haven't. You've done amazing. But yeah, I really loved this episode. And someone else that really, really enjoyed it was Jackson. So he wanted to give you his thoughts. So I'm going to pop them in here. Jackson, which was your favourite costume?
The Explorer.
The Explorer. And which was your least favourite?
The Crayon.
Was this challenge better than the deck chair challenge? Because you really loved the deck chair challenge, didn't you?
Yeah. This challenge is better than the deck chairs.
Thank you for your opinion, Jackson. Yeah, Jackson loved Isaac. He loved Isaac so much. So now I'm thinking I'm probably going to have to crochet him an Explorer costume. I hope you've enjoyed having a little natter with me talking about the game of wool. What episode's been your favourite? Because for me, it's this episode. This has been so much fun watching those costumes, just with the level of creativity and the kind of free reign that they got. I think it's so fab. So remember, if you've enjoyed this video, why don't you hit subscribe and give us a like? Come and join our community. This is the best thing about doing these videos, is just the community that we're building here. I've been doing it now for a year, uploading every single week. And we have got this fantastic community where we all come together just with our shared love of crafts. Now, I never ever want any of my content to ever go behind a paywall. I really believe that if you want to join the community, there shouldn't be a price packet on it. Regardless of your income, you should be able to come here and enjoy our content. I do, however, have a membership. It's $2.99 a month. And what you get for that is you get priority responses to comments. You get a badge next to your name saying that you're part of the community. And you also get a shout out in every single video. So I want to say a massive thank you to Wendy, David, Emma, Claire, Emma, Teddy, Liz, and Miss Horror Radio. Thank you so much for supporting me every single week. We also have the coffee app for one-off payments, and just commenting and liking, that is support enough. That always pushes me towards the algorithm, and I really, really appreciate every single person who comments and lets me know what they think of what we're doing here. Remember as well, we are doing a giveaway of the Luca-S yarns. So if you want to be in with a chance of winning 1 of 5 giveaways to win 2 balls of the Luca-S yarns, make sure you comment down below. Let me know which colourway of their woolen walks is interesting to you. On Sunday, after our video, I am going to be going live to announce the winner. So make sure you comment down below. Let me know which is your favourite and you could be in with a chance of winning. Thank you so much for coming and joining in with the video today. Thank you so much. Make sure you tell me down below who do you think should have won today. Who do you think made the best costume? Let me know. I want to know your thoughts because I just need to talk about this programme. So remember, like and subscribe, and if I don't see you on Sunday, I'll see you next week. Bye.